Hey, Joe DiChara here, CPA slash entrepreneur, and the very proud founder of Bedrock Bookkeepers Online Academy. And I'm here today to introduce a new series which I call Quick Tips. And today we are talking about some quick tips on QuickBooks. I'm going to cover the chart of accounts, entering a check, and entering a deposit. Now, what this is a short example, a little snippet of some of my courses, some of the things that I teach in my online academy. And I invite you to visit bedrockbookkeeping.com for more videos, more free content, more information about how you can succeed running a small business. You know, business is tough enough, and without the right people around you, it's even tougher. And I believe that in order to succeed in business, you need what I call the financial mastermind. And what that is connecting the small business owner, the entrepreneur, with a good bookkeeping system and with a good proactive accountant. If you want more information, like I said, please visit my website, bedrockbookkeeping.com. And if you like to talk to me, you can visit timewithjoe.com and schedule a free 30-minute strategy session. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for your time. Which is really, when you look at your trial balance, it is your chart of accounts. It is it lists all of your categories in order from the assets, the cash, current assets, fixed assets, all the way down to your expenses. That is your chart of accounts. And the way that you create a chart of accounts in QuickBooks is it is actually called a list. So if you have QuickBooks open, you go to list and you open up chart of accounts, and QuickBooks actually has their own chart of accounts, which I have to change, and you might have to change to mirror what your financials look like. So your chart of accounts need to look like your finished balance sheet and your trial balance. And you'll see, if you ever start with a clean copy of QuickBooks and you see the chart that they give you, it's nowhere close to being really what a balance sheet is supposed to look like. It's missing a bunch of accounts. So anyway, this is how you're going to create your chart of accounts. You get to this screen. Let's go back there a second, because so now what you do is you open up your list, you go to your chart of accounts, this comes out, and then what you want to do is you want to hit account here, and it'll bring you to this screen which says choose the type of account. So you'll see income and expenses. Those are the categories that go on an income statement. But down here they have a couple of unfamiliar categories, and that's because of the way QuickBooks is structured. So what we want is we want to create a bank account. Everything else, if you go down here, you'll see it's other account types. So this is where you'll have your other current assets, your other assets, your current liabilities. Really, these things should be up here, but that's the way QuickBooks was structured. And so when you hit continue, you're going to come to a screen like this. And it's categorized as an expense because you said it was an expense over here. So now the thing is, you could actually change it over here. If you decide, oh, I didn't want expense, I wanted income. Now I use a numbering system. This is where you put the number and you put the name of the account. Now this is, almost filled in. That's the bad debt account. We don't want too much of that. And then we have, if you want to make a sub account. Now if you remember, we have the main categories, which is, let's say, cash, and then underneath that you would have your operating account, your payroll account. Those are what they call sub-accounts. So now in this example, I'm making a sub-account of auto lease. So this is my category, this is the number, and I'm making it a subcategory of automobile expenses. And then over here we could see it, and this is how it's laid out in QuickBooks. Now let me make a point here. I call it, they are categories on a balance sheet, an income statement, even though we call it an account in QuickBooks and we call it a chart of accounts. Really it's a chart of categories, and I want to make that distinction because what I call an account is something like a bank account, a credit card account. Those accounts where I went in back in a few chapters ago, I talked about these are the accounts where the transactions flow through. Now, once you have your account set up, I'm going to show you here how to enter a check. So if you look up here, this is your QuickBooks menu. Now, I'm not going to go through the navigation features in QuickBooks. That's for a QuickBooks course. But up here in the menu field, you can get to anything in QuickBooks. And in this instance, we're going to go to write a check. And what happens is one of the dangers of QuickBooks, because it's a check, as opposed to entering this in a journal. So what this should be going into in a real accounting system is a cash disbursements journal. But we're going to do it QuickBooks way, and it looks like a check. And over here, so it looks like a check. And over here, because QuickBooks you can print checks, and we're not going into that, but this is where you would put the check number. Now remember those 5 items that I said you need. You need to know what account it's coming from, what account is the check being paid out of, the date, the payee, the amount, and the category down here. And this is what a full transaction looks like. We have the account, the payee, the date, the amount, and the category, professional fees. Now this is how you make a deposit. Same menu item, you make a deposit. The deposit screen comes up. Now we need the account. You can't see this here, but this is the operating account. The date, who it was received from, the payor, the category, and the amount. Same 5 things. Now this would go into a cash receipts journal, which QuickBooks doesn't formally produce, which is why it's not even really a bookkeeping program. See, QuickBooks, the idea was Intuit created Quicken, which was a personal finance program. And doing it, structuring it this way was fine for a personal finance. So what they did was they took a bookkeeping program, Money Counts, and they tweaked it to make it sort of look like Quicken. These guys weren't accountants. They were marketing geniuses, and they were software programmers. And that wraps up another awesome episode of Bedrock Bookkeepers Online Academy. Joe DiChiara here, inviting you back to our site bedrockbookkeeping.com. Check us out for the latest and greatest offers, discounts, updates and content, videos, new courses. Okay, again, bedrockbookkeeping.com. Joe DiChiara, over and out. Looking forward to seeing you at the next segment.